Hey everybody, welcome back. I have a discussion video for you tonight. What I really want to know is, do you guys like to consume a variety of different manga and anime near the same time, or do you like to really focus on one thing, finish it as much as possible, and move on to the next thing? I'm really interested in this because I think I'm kind of weird in this case, where I like a variety of things, and I think while I like to watch and read stuff that way, I think it's kind of detrimental to me, as a content creator and stuff like that. But I feel like if I did it the other way, I might not enjoy the medium as much. I don't know. I've always been a pretty fickle person, I guess. I don't really. I'm definitely not usually like a binge watcher or something like that. For example, currently, I'm watching like three or four different shows, and I'm reading two manga pretty consistently. And I don't usually watch the same show like back to back days or nights or whenever I'm trying to watch anime. Um, and of course I do other things. I don't just watch anime all the time too. But and maybe all you watch is anime, but that's up to you. Let me know about that too down below. But I do watch other things, and when I do watch anime or I do read manga, once again I don't typically do the same thing like back to back days or do one thing for a large number of hours or something. This is why I don't like knock out an entire manga series or something like that in like one sitting. I don't know what it is about my personality, but I enjoy the variety. So like for example, right now what I'm watching, this was a Patreon request, and one of my best friend on YouTube, it's his favorite anime pretty much of all time. I'm pretty sure Fruits Basket has a 2019 remake. I'm about 9 episodes, I believe, into this, and it's been a couple days since I watched some of it, and it's been a pretty enjoyable experience so far. I'm going to do a video about this when I finish it, but at the same time, I don't think it's like a super binge worthy thing. I don't consider many things super binge worthy, but this show's really really interesting. It's like it's got this like shojo kind of vibe to it with this like cool family dynamic of these like people that could turn into animals of the zodiac and stuff like that. And this Toru Honda, the like the nicest main character I think like in existence. She's so nice that it's like almost like unrealistic. Like I wish like every person in real life was Toru Honda. It's an enjoyable show, and I don't really have that many like negatives about it so far, but it's just not something that I can continuously like marathon or something like that. And it might be a personal thing, but I don't know. Like at the same time, you guys already know I do weekly episode reviews of Tower of God. This is like a shonen kind of show, so it's like if I want to watch my shojo kind of stuff, I watch my Fruits Basket. If I want to watch some action stuff, I'll watch my Tower of God. That's also I usually will pick out like one thing from a season and stick with that if I'm going to watch anything seasonally at all. Because I also watch anime in this weird sort of this weird order of like watching one episode or watching two episodes, moving on to another thing. I typically don't watch weekly stuff like religiously. I typically will watch it when I want to watch it. I guess I don't know. I'm all about viewership freedom, I guess, or I'm just out of my mind. It would almost make sense that I should like weekly stuff, but I don't know. Something about like just tuning into something like every day, like I can't like every Wednesday or something like that. I'm way too forgetful for that a lot of the time. I don't know, but Tower God, I'm enjoying it. It's a cool like shonen type show. I highly recommend checking out some of my other videos about it. And we'll be definitely talking about that more in the future. One I've had on the back burner is Big O. This was a series that I bought on Blu-ray a long time ago. Uh, a rather expensive Blu-ray, I think at the time. I think it had just gotten like a re-release. It's a show that I remember watching on Toonami growing up. It's like a big mech show. it's like a neo noir. The main character is basically like Batman with a giant robot. And then he's also got this like cyborg like butler girl who's kind of cool, Dorothy. But it's kind of repetitive and doesn't really hold my attention for all that long. Like I can only handle the giant robots for like such a long time, and it's like I said, it's repetitive. A lot of it is just he shows up with the robot and wins. There's this whole like dynamic with like the city that they live in, like years ago in the past, like there's like this lost time of memories. Like people don't remember past like a certain window of time, and nobody like knows why. Um, but that's I mean it's discussed like a little bit, but at least so far, I want to say I'm like 10 or 11 episodes into this, and like nearing the end of the first season, and we really haven't answered a lot of the questions as to like the memory thing. I'm hoping maybe that goes on in the future or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. But I've kind of had that one on the back burner for a little while. In terms of reading, I talked about this in a recent video as well. Battle Angel Alita. This is a really cool, popular action manga. Um, and it's part of a very long running series. And it has like several different installments, like sequels and prequels and stuff like that. I'm very interested in getting into this world because there aren't many things that are super long running that I'm into. Like I kind of missed the boat on One Piece. I know so many people want me to read it and want me to watch it and stuff like that. I actually watched, I think it's PCP uploaded a video. It's like a 4-hour discussion of like One Piece from like the start to like where they are now. So I know a majority of the story of One Piece because I just consumed it in that like video, and I even watched that video in a couple of different sessions. Did not sit there for 4 hours straight. Um, but I really enjoyed doing it that way. So I don't know. That's another weird way that I like to sort of consume media. I guess I like lecture with like uh, some sort of like visual stimuli or something on the screen, like multiple people talking about something like podcast style or VOD style or something like that. I'll gladly listen to your story, no matter kind of how long it is, if we can sort of like break it up into chunks and stuff like that. But with Alita, well, I find it very, very interesting. Again, I just some things about it, like I don't think I could do it. Like not every day am I into Cyberpunk. Like some days I just come home from work and stuff like that, and I want to watch Fruits Basket. I want to see. I'm, I just said I'm not into Cyberpunk, but I'm gonna watch just neo noir giant robot guy solving a mystery kind of deal. Sometimes I'm just not looking for it, and it's not a knock on Alita at all. I think it's one of the best looking manga I have ever read. And I want to pick up the rest of the entire franchise and read it all. Certainly not all back to back, I don't think, which could be detrimental to I think maybe my knowledge of it. Eventually, I'd like to do a video that's sort of like lecture based about all of Alita. That way, if someone is sort of interested, they can watch it and see, wait, what's this Alita stuff about? And I could break it down for them, like the PCP guys broke down One Piece. Maybe that can come in the future. I don't know. No promises. Because I'm also reading Vinland Saga, another really long. I guess I'm just allergic to like short manga, because this is also a long running series which just had an anime adaptation by Studio Wit. And that anime only covers like 50 something chapters worth. I'm currently on chapter, I believe, 123 or so. I just finished book 9, so it might be a little farther than that. So basically, these come out, I think, in like 2-in-1 volumes, 2-in-1 books. So I think like volume 18 or so of the manga, and is where I'm at. And this is something that I pick up and I read like every like couple weeks, because while I really really enjoy Vinland Saga, it's a really cool like Viking story. I just it's sometimes it's super like interesting how like much Makoto Yukimura like dug into like the factual like history of Vikings and stuff like that, and how they planned their battles and how they fought and how their like ships worked and crews worked and sort of structure and honor code. All that really factors into it. The manga actually has a bunch of really cool sections about like where the author was talking about like research that he did and said like, oh well, these guys would meet up in this kind of place. I found this interesting. I found their family dynamic interesting in this way. Blah blah blah. It's really cool. I highly suggest if you can read the manga, please check out Yukimura's like notes and stuff like that about the research that he did. I commend the guy for that. Really nice. However, it does get into sort of some kind of shonen BS and stuff like that, where people are getting shot with like a million arrows and surviving for a pretty long time. And, you know, people are just like really big and are literally fighting grizzly bears with their bare hands and stuff like that. So, I mean, at times it gets like silly, but it's still a very intriguing story. I recommend pretty much all of these. I would say maybe like Big O the least is I'm liking that the least, but it's still a pretty good anime, and I know it has a lot of fans out there and stuff like that. But basically, what I'm getting at is like, how do you guys consume anime and manga? Is anybody like me where it's I almost treat it like it's almost like nightly cable, and I've tried to set up my viewing like this in the past where. But again, I'm the most disorganized person in the world, so this failed. But what I used to try and do was like Monday. Let's say if it was like this stuff, I'd be like Monday I'll watch Big O, Tuesday I'll watch Fruits Basket, Wednesday I'll just read a bunch of Vinland Saga or something. Because I just with work and life and everything, I kind of just portion, not doing 24 hours of anime and manga every day. If that's what you're up to, then that's your thing. So like Wednesday or something, I read Vinland Saga. Thursday, I watch I watched Tower Tower of God, whatever. And I've tried to set it up like that. And while that kind of is what I do, I've tried not to like write it down and organize it that way. Besides Tower of God, which is the weekly show that I'm currently watching, trying to sort of stay up to date and timely and stuff like that. But usually it's just kind of spur of the moment, whatever I'm feeling that day. Are any of you like that? Do you just like, or you're just thinking like you put a couple like series on hold and then I'm feeling like watching a mech show. I feel like watching a show with a whole lot of guns in it or something like that. Do you sign up for like long running manga or long running anime series and then just plan to watch it for like a slow burn, like a long time, like I seemingly enjoy doing and torturing myself with? Or are you someone that like really just likes the binge? Do you like knocking something out? I know people that like will start a manga, finish it that day, and they just like to do it like that. And kudos to you if you can do that. I have never done that in my life. I've talked about it before a little bit. Like the most I've ever like binged a show was I think Soul Eater. And I know I watched like double digit episodes in a day before, and I was enjoying Soul Eater so much when I first saw it that I was just shocked by how many episodes had really gone by, and so that was very atypical of what I normally do. So I don't know. Are you a binger? Are you a variety sort of watcher? Is the sort of spur of the moment from you? For you? Do you have days where you just don't watch any anime or don't read any manga? Because sometimes I do. I know that might sound weird, subscribe to my channel for anime and manga discussions. But sometimes I just don't. Sometimes life and stuff happens and I don't feel like reading any manga or watching anime or something like that. I really got to be in the mood for these things. Luckily, that's a majority of the time for me. There's one more. There's a Yu Yu Hakusho. Gotta mention this one, because this is getting like the Chobits treatment for me, where it's just taking me like literally years to finish. Again, no knock on the show. It's just really long. And I currently don't have the Blu-rays or DVDs, so like I gotta like stream it at places, and sometimes I just don't feel like watching something on my computer, or just like, I'll make a whole bunch of excuses in my head. But Yu Yu Hakusho is really good. I'm pretty deep into it. and will finish it at some point, and will make a video about how good it is, because it is really good. I will probably have to refresh myself on a whole lot of it, but I can certainly see why it is some of my friends' like favorite anime of all time. It is really really solid, as are most of these things that I'm currently watching. I guess I only watch good things. That's I guess the if we could take anything away from this, that is the most proper way to do it. But yeah, let me know down below how you guys consume anime, manga, whatever. This is going to apply to real life shows as well. Am I insane for watching it this way? Let me know down below. If you like what I'm doing here, please consider hitting that subscribe button down there. And if you really, really, really like what I'm doing, there's a Patreon link in the description box below. Thank you guys so much. Thanks to all my patrons who support me already. My name is Miasma, and thanks for watching.